Yeah, welcome to the Ward 4 and 7 NPA meeting. We got a name tag, we're meeting each other, everyone signed in, great. Take some leftovers home if you feel so inclined. We're gonna share this for now. I guess so. So we'll jump right into just our welcome, so welcome again. And our agenda and our ground rules. There's some topics of the agenda at the welcome table. Our ground rules are that we listen to each other, treat others respectfully, share our opinions politely, and respect our agenda and our process. We've got a nice full room and full agenda, so it's awesome. And our first point on the agenda is to introduce ourselves. So I'm Sarah. Some people call me Sarah. My pronouns are she, they, and I live in Ward 7. And if you've never been to a meeting before, we usually pass the microphone around and we all have a chance to talk into it and introduce ourselves. So if we're feeling ready, I'll just start right here. Oh, and also I wanted to check Deb online if you can hear us.
Muted. Hi, I can hear you. I can hear you. I don't know if you can see me. I can't figure out what's going on, but I'm here.
Great, thanks, Deb. And Anika, can you hear us? And you can introduce yourself as well. We'll start there and then we'll move on.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm Deb Boughton. I live in Ward 7 and I'm a she pronoun. Thank you.
And Anika, did you want to introduce yourself? Seems like you're off mute. Okay, no worries. We can move on and come back to it again. I'll pass them up.
Robert Golding, Public Information Manager at Public Works, and thanks for having us here.
Jamie Spencer, Director of Public Works, Ward 5, thanks for having us.
Lisa Lax, Ward 1, and I'm here as a presenter. Thank you for having us.
Hi, I'm Kim Horning Mercy. I live outside of Burlington, but I'm active with the Chittenden County 350 Vermont node, and so I'm one of your presenters as well.
I'm Bill Masterson from Ward 4.
Sarah Carpenter, she, her pronouns, and City Councilor Ward 4. Karen Bug, Ward 7, she, her.
Rex Bud, Ward 7, he, him, please.
Thank you. You're next.
Renee Eisenberg, Ward 4.
Steve Norman, Ward 4.
My name is Andrew. I'm a recent transplant to Colchester. Still happy to be here.
I'm Annie Lawson. I'm the she, her pronouns. I'm in Ward 4 and I'm on the steering committee here for the NPA.
Bernie Carter, he, him, and Ward 7.
Sal Milchamp, Ward 7, and she, they.
Stephen Brown, Ward 7, steering committee, and he, him, and Ward 7, yeah.
Jane McDonald, and I guess I'm inclusive of everything, and I'm in Ward 7.
I'm Leanne and Anais. We're Ward 4. You heard?
Hi, I'm Mark Peterson, Ward 4.
Hi, Karen Turner, she, her, Ward 4.
There'll be a nice Ward 7, she, her. Right, and Ward 7.
Nat Williams, Ward 7, she, her.
Brian Williams, Ward 7.
I'm gonna have this table jump in over here.
Gary DeCarlos, Ward 4.
Hi, Barbara Benton, Ward 4, she, her, and cataract surgery today.
Martha Malthus, I use she, her pronouns, Ward 7.
Kathleen Miles, she, her, of Ward 7.
Yeah, Ward 7, and Susanna, she, her pronouns.
Christy Lyon, Ward 4, she, her.
Allison Reynolds, Ward 4.
Parent Pulaski Brand, she, they, Ward 4.
Amy Pulaski Brand, she, her, Ward 4, and on this NPA steering committee.
I'm Susan Ogden, I'm in Ward 4, and my pronouns are she, her.
I'm Prensky, Ward 4.
My name's Colleen Goodhue. I'm in Ward 7 and a she, her pronoun.
Williams, he, him, beautiful, scenic, Ward 7.
Trish Stefan, she, her, Ward 7. Amanda Rodenberg, she, her, Ward 7.
Peter Reynolds, Ward 4.
Caitlin Dembski, Ward 7, she, her pronoun.
Alex Kabala, he, him, Ward 7.
Lizzie Sheehan, Ward 7.
Thank you, no. Yeah,
and Mark.
oh, yeah, we got a microphone for those folks.
John Smith, Ward 7, he, him.
Lauren Peters Collage, she, her, Ward 7.
Amos, Ward 7.
Jacob Holzberg Hill, he, him, Ward 7.
Sean Ryan, Ward 7.
Maggie Donan, Ward 7. Is that it? Everybody in that? All more?
In red.
No, you're 5 years old. Great. And then a couple more people. Yeah, Ali, you can go.
Yeah, this is, Ali Gang, Ward 7, he, him.
Mark Barlow, North District City Council.
Sandy McCray, she, her, live down the street.
Steve Goodfine, Ward 7.
I have Ward 4 and I'm on the steering committee.
Ward 8.
All right, I think we got everybody, right? Amazing job. Give yourselves a round of applause. Thanks for being here. Put one right up here and I'll move them around as we get started. So thanks, everybody. Our next agenda point is our open forum. So this is a chance to announce upcoming events that are going on, topics of kind of conversation you want to bring people's awareness to in the coming weeks or months. See a hand right here and just put your hand up and I'll bring you a microphone. So we'll get started with Ali.
Thank you. This is more about appreciation to a community member. Her name is Wendy Rice. Yes. And as you know, when the frog and toad issue came up in our community, Wendy Rice very quickly identified some of the families that have been affected, understand the issue, and from there connected with both city and state leaders. Yesterday, we met with the city chief of staff, the director of Burlington Parks and Recreation to talk about the future of this site. Amy Lawson is here. She was in attendance. She didn't have kids. She had her kids with her, but the conversation was very well. This is again what the community should be like. When there is a problem, someone needs to step up, organize the people, and try to find solution. And that's exactly what Wendy Rice did. And please join me in giving her a round of applause in appreciation of her leadership around this issue. Thank you, Wendy.
Thank you for that. Hank?
Ms. Bill Hank. I work with the North End Food Pantry, an all-volunteer organization that helps people who need food and clothing and personal care products. We're open every weekend, on Saturdays and Sundays, basically from 9 a.m. till noon, 9 a.m. to 11. And we welcome your support, your donations of food and clothing on this coming Saturday, 26th. Is once a month. We have the last Saturday of the month. We welcome food donations and clothing donations. So help us when you can, if you'd like to be a volunteer. We love our volunteers. The website is northendfoodpantry.org. northendfoodpantry.org. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Amy Bilasky Branch. I just want to let you know that I'm going to be running for the Chittenden 18 House of Representatives position. So that's, people get confused. Chittenden 18 covers part of the northernmost part of Ward 4 and 7. It's currently the representatives are Carol Odie and Kevin Scully. So if I have a petition, if you can sign it and you live there, just to get my name on the ballot, I'd appreciate it. Thanks.
Thanks, Amy. And you have an announcement over here?
I'm Bernie Carver. As many of you know, today is Earth Day. And it's a good day to call your state senators and urge them to vote for Senate Bill 176. It's already passed unanimously in the House. And our Tanya Lahosky and Martine Bullock are co-sponsors of it. But everybody's not on board, and it's very important. My mother and my grandfather had Parkinson's disease, and my brother-in-law is suffering from it right now. So it's and what the bill is about is banning paraquat in the state of Vermont. There's 72 countries that banned it elsewhere, and it's high time that we do it too. So Vermont's at the start. Thank you.
Anyone else have a hand up? Sylvia?
What was the bill number again for that?
176.
176.
S 176?
S 176, that's
Okay, so
correct.
there's another bill, H739, that came out of the House. On the same subject. But that allows paraquat to be used through 2030, which is unnecessary and inadvisable. So I'm not sure which bill has gone further. The H739 is stuck in the Senate Agriculture Committee. So maybe the other bill, the S bill, may be moving more independently and getting more progress. I'll have to look into it. Thank you for that notice.
Great, thanks for that update. Any other announcements, Lynn?
Not announcement.
And-
Can we bring up concerns?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Hi, the season has started, that the young kids are out on their e-bikes. And they're cruising up and down North Avenue and a lot of our side streets. And I have no idea who is attending to that, because I never see police, I never hear sirens. Well, I shouldn't say that. Once last year, down on College Street, I saw 2 cop cars chasing a group of older men on their motorcycles, but I've never seen the kids stop once in this area. And if anybody has any information, knows how we can attend to this problem, please bring it up on Concord Forum, so none of us can so. Because I don't know who to talk to, because this is an ongoing problem. Thank you.
Thanks, Lynn, go ahead, Andrew.
My name is Andrew, and I just want to applaud the efforts of these two folks here, because in our lifetimes, we're learning more and more the link between environmental factors and these diseases that are affecting all of our families and all of our neighbors. We have the highest chronic disease rate in the developed world, highest rate of cancer, lowest mortality rate, lowest life expectancy, and we need to regain control over these things. So thank you for your work.
Anyone else with you, Christy?
In addition to what you said about the kids on the bikes, I just posted something on Front Porch Forum a while ago. It's like public service announcement, because right now 'tis the season. Bike path particularly at the intersection of Shore Road and the bike path is an extremely dangerous intersection. There are stop signs for bikes. Nobody ever stops. It's very, very dangerous. And I wrote that post after I was aware of a collision between a bicyclist and a car. But there have been many near misses and there have been many collisions over the years. So I don't know what anyone can do. People are just not going to abide by the stop signs. But anyway, after I posted that on the Front Porch Forum, there were multiple posts about people's concerns. And so as a public service announcement, if you're driving over those intersections, you can only control what you do. You can't control what other people do. They're not abiding by the rules. They're not attentive. But I now crawl over the bike path in any of those intersections. So please be advised. Thanks for that.
Thank you.
We've got time for one more. Hand for Mark.
Just as a brief update about the e-motos that were being referred to. At least that's what I've heard them called. Right now, the city council is looking at revisions to our ordinances to better classify the different types of electric vehicles, and help us in trying to create rules around what is and what isn't on the bike path and on the streets and whatever. I agree. It's been a huge issue with these e-motos. I've had several incidents in the New North End recently, and we've been tracking them and reporting them and looking for ways to handle it. So more updates on that to come. Yeah, they are. I saw them on North Avenue yesterday.
Yeah.
I think maybe we need to involve the schools even, try to identify who some of these kids are and get.
They also travel in swarms.
Yeah. Anyways, it's a known issue, and it's definitely being looked at.
Thanks. Great, thanks, everyone. We are going to move on to our next part of the agenda, which is a presentation from the DPW with Rob and Chapin. So I'll hand it over.
Good evening, everybody. Who's that?
Just the green light doesn't necessarily.
Oh, got it. Good evening, everybody. That sounds better. Chapin Spencer, Director of Public Works. Each year we have the pleasure of giving a construction season overview, and look forward to going through that very quickly with Rob Goulding here, and then happy to answer questions. Great news. We're continuing our generational reinvestment in Burlington's old infrastructure. Even better news, this year's work will be less impactful than past years. Thank you all for your patience as we go through this work. And I'm hoping we can get the
Tech difficulty.
PowerPoint up.
Yeah, I'm having some issues with my Zoom right now.
Sure.
Do you have your computer handy? Or
I don't, but I can refer to the slides on my phone. Need to.
pull it up, it might just be a little less nice than usual. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
I have the slides here too, if you would like the computer. I'll give a quick update on key projects that everybody is very familiar with: Great Streets, Main Street, and the Champaign Parkway. Great news, both projects will be done in the next 3 months. On budget, on time. I think we all have felt that these projects have been underway for a long, long time. They specifically the Parkway started before I was born. True story. And we are successfully wrapping up both projects. So the Champlain Parkway, next slide, is a 25-mile-an-hour road. It was originally designed as a 4-lane high-speed highway. Through multiple administrations and multiple city councils, we have been able to right-size the road, and now is 25-mile-an-hour 2-lane road. The interstate connection will be made either in late June or July. It has significant stormwater improvements and bike pedestrian improvements. So the actual care of the lake in the south end will be better off after this project's constructed than before. There are a number of mid-block crossings that have been added for pedestrian safety, et cetera. Next. What's left to do? Most of the invasive work has been done. Right now, people may have seen at Shelburne Street by Market 32, there's some overhead sign bases being installed right now. There's some street lighting being worked on I-189. We do have some signal work in the King and Maple neighborhood, along with some striping. And those signals will be turned on in the coming month and will run a number of months before the interstate connection is opened up. So overall, we are expecting the project to be wrapping up in July. Next. So Great Streets Main Street, we are really excited to get this project also completed this year. It's been 3 blocks from Winooski Avenue down to Pine Street, with some paving happening on either end of it without the full-scale reconstruction. The end result, wider sidewalks, are dedicated bike facilities on the sidewalk level away from traffic. There are more trees, stormwater facilities, enhanced lighting. It really will be a tremendous addition to the vitality of downtown when it's done. Next. And as people may recall, this project also included the bypassing of the ravine sewer through much of downtown, which is the 30-foot deep, old 150-year-old sewer, stone line sewer that cross-cuts downtown. The Post Apartments project that Champlain Housing Trust just built was enabled by the abandonment of a key section of the ravine sewer. So Great Streets Main Street has also helped build more housing in the downtown. So what's left to do on Main Street? Sidewalks, signals, tree planting, final coat of paving, and a number of public art additions. I'm really excited that we've been able to incorporate art through working with Burlington City Arts. Next. And I'll turn it over to Rob to talk sidewalks and paving.
Thanks, David, and thanks everyone for having us. Much like we did after the passage of the capital bonds in 2016, thanks to voter support in 2025 with another town meeting day bond that's funding a lot of our important capital work. I wanted to come back and give you an update on how that money is being spent. And while we have a lot of wordy slides, we did that so you could refer to them offline if you wanted to take a look. We'll try to be quick to leave as much room as possible for questions, but we are pleased to say that the sidewalk season has started with an over $1.5 million contract plus additional work that we do in-house with our own construction crew, essentially, that will repair a lot of the short runs and safety issues that crop up over the course of a year, especially after a long winter. We have about 3.1 miles planned overall, including our contract, our in-house work, and some kind of remaining work from our big capital projects that Chapin referred to. The contract is largely funded, as I've mentioned. Hopefully you all can hear me. I just heard myself come on. Great. Largely funded by the town meeting day 2025 bonds. So thanks again for voter support for that. Next. One of the questions we get is, well, what about my sidewalk? And we do have 130 miles of sidewalks. We don't have funding for 130 miles of sidewalks a year, as I bet you would surmise. So we break these into a couple different categories, one of which are long deteriorated sections that we will contract out for. Another are kind of the smaller, shorter runs you'll hear us refer to, where our crew will typically get out there with their equipment, with their concrete, and do an amazing job of kind of going segment by segment as they need to around the city. We do prioritize based on usage, based on resident requests, knowing that funding and the overall prioritization schema has to take into account many things like activity scores that we kind of look at internally to figure out who's using the street, how many people use the street, is it near schools, is it near senior centers, other ways that we may need to prioritize certain segments of sidewalk. We did just conduct, and we try to conduct these every 5 to 8 years or so, a sidewalk inventory where we go around mechanically assessing the entire network of sidewalks. So we're using that as a baseline in addition to your reports and again, funding to help us make our annual plans. Next slide. So you can see the contract list I have up before you. Gosport is highlighted down below. It hasn't officially made the contract, but we expect it to be added later in the year. So more updates to come on that. I just wanted to refer to that if you see that at the bottom. Pleased to say a lot of the big run sidewalk work is concentrated up here in the new North End on Woodlawn, Holly, Wildwood Drive, and then Gosport. We may not have a ton of short run segments, but that shouldn't stop you from submitting those to SeeClickFix. That work plan is a little bit more flexible. So please report anything you think is cropping up as a safety matter. And we'll just breeze through this to be quick, but next slide. We also get a similar question about paving. I said asphalt plants are open. I've got conflicting reports. We're still relying on a lot of the asphalt we create in-house. So I don't know if they've actually officially opened. So don't quote us just yet on that, but we are pleased to say that the weather is turning and they will be open full-time soon. We have a $1.7 million contract plus some additional spillover work from last year, bringing us closer to the overall goal we try to meet every year, which is around 4 miles, to try to bring our street network up to the standards you all expect it to be in, and to be able to sustainably keep streets that tend to have anywhere from a 10 to 25-year-old life cycle on a sustainable pattern. Again, this contract is largely funded by the town meeting day support. And thanks again, we're able to fully flesh out a plan this year with more to come over the next 3 to 5 years as this money becomes more available from the bonding and we can put it to good use. Next slide. Can't talk that fast. What I will say is we have over 90 miles of streets in the city. They're classified in different ways, basically matching different levels of activity. Are they major arteries? Are they smaller side streets? And that's going to help our prioritization matrix to figure out exactly how they can fall on our paving schedule based on available funding. You can see this year, we also have a pretty concentrated list in the new North End between whoops. It's okay. That's all right. If it were me, I'd be screwing that up. So don't worry. We've got Cumberland Road, Saratoga, Rivermount, Bennington Court, which also has a water line project, as well as a patch on Lower North Ave. We have hit headwinds in recent years with inflation and recently rising fuel prices. This year's contract, there were some green shoots as well. This year's contract did bring a couple additional bids. So, we're trying to balance all that out by looking at the larger picture and how much we're going to be able to do every year. But there was a little bit of a balance of both this year. So we're pleased to bring forward a little over 3.5 miles of paving this year. Next slide, please. In addition to the capital infrastructure you see, we are also working extensively behind the scenes and under the ground on the infrastructure you don't see. So we have a variety of plans and projects underway or about to go in the ground with our water resources division. That includes the ongoing, what we refer to as a stage 0 wastewater treatment plant upgrade on the grit and screening equipment that really helps all the downstream equipment function much better. So the important thing to know is all of that work's underway, and the vote from 2025, that money will be going out to fund stage 1 and further stages of this work in the coming years. It's a really important and impactful project that's going to meaningfully upgrade our wastewater treatment plants. We also have a water main improvement project, which the bids just came back today. We're pleased to say bids were very competitive, and we'll have these 3 projects kicking off, including one on Bennington Court, as well as a really important stormwater outfall project. And I can talk forever about that, but I won't bore you. but we're happy to talk more about water resources in the future. Next slide, please, for the sake of time. So we'll skip over this one. This is just a kind of big picture view of the wastewater treatment plant upgrade timeline and plan. It's available on the website and in this presentation. And I'm certain that we'll come back in the future to talk more about water resources work and especially the wastewater treatment work. Next slide, please. A couple things you can do for water and you can do for your home. There are free stormwater assessments you can sign up for through the Blue BTV stormwater program. You can find that again on our website or in this presentation. You'll be able to have a good assessment done of your property to see what meaningful upgrades you can make to help not only you manage stormwater better, but also help the city overall manage stormwater better. You can also sign up to Adopt a Drain. Really proud of being a partner in this program. Sign up for drains in your neighborhood, help protect them. You'll get best practices and a variety of material through our partner network, and really an important thing that we all can do. Next slide. Great timing. Today is the first day of Operation Clean Sweep on the east side of North Ave. So please move your cars if they're on the street. Let your neighbors know, and just know that everything we're doing sweeping has already started, I should say, but everything we're doing this week is about one big push and a big comprehensive cleanup to help protect the lake, help protect our infrastructure, and really beautify the city as we're all trying to beautify our houses and gardens for the spring. So it's a big project. East side tonight, west side of North Ave tomorrow. So pay attention to the schedule and let your neighbors know if you don't think they're kind of tuned in to how to find out more. Next slide, please. Three easy buckets for how to reach out to us. There are maintenance requests, which you're always welcome to call or email. But we have a dedicated website /app /ClickFix, which is a great way to keep track of any updates on maintenance requests you want to know about. Construction impacts, we encourage you, if you so choose, to sign up for Burlington for VT Alert, which you can find on our website. We also make use of Front Porch Forum. There's a nifty new feature on Front Porch Forum that allows urgent alerts to push out, which we're trying to make more use of. So if you happen to not want to be on VT Alert, but are on Front Porch Forum, that could be another way through email. I should specify the VT Alert system also allows text message functionality, so you can get rapid alerts. In addition to signage on the street that we make use of for sidewalk and paving work, among hopefully many other things you've seen around the city for how to find out more on the construction impacts. And then finally, general customer service. If you have a complaint, a concern, or something you want to share that you're proud of with the city, we're always happy to take the phone call or answer your emails. That can be for maintenance requests, can be for any other challenges you think we can help you out with. So keep us in mind, and love to leave room for questions if there's time and questions.
Yep, and I think just wrapping it up, we want to say thank you not only to the voters, but to the counselors up here who have been a great partner in our efforts to get these bonds secured. I know we have Councilor Barlow and Councilor Carpenter here, and Councilor Litwin, thank you. This doesn't happen without a team effort, and the DPW Public Works Commission also is a key partner in that success. Happy to answer questions.
We've got one right over here to start, and then Lynn, you'll be next.
Where the streets that took it pretty hard this winter fit into your program, like Star Farm Road, Oak Street, Manhattan Drive? Ones that maybe when you did your planning, even in the middle of winter, weren't so bad, but they're pretty horrendous now. Where do they fit in the paving program for this year?
Right. Thank you. And former Director Steve Goodkind, appreciate all the work you've done for the city's infrastructure.
Happily retired.
So we, in addition to the streets we show up here, we have large patching program as well. And that patching program is going after a number of streets that don't merit a full curb to curb yet, but need more than just pothole filling. So happy to get that list out to folks. I don't know, Rob, do you have some of the streets?
Yeah, we're happy to share that. I know a lower section of North Ave is on that patching list, and I think more streets can or will be added based on how the contract shakes out. We'd also encourage folks to submit these on C-Click-Fix. I mean, I think the crews generally are aware, but if you feel like something's not being attended to, at least in the short term, we can send crews out to help.
Yeah,
I missed the street.
Street has an in-here list of streets.
Oak Street is the one you're talking about? Yes. Yeah.
Same condition.
There is a section of Oak Street. Yeah.
Beyond passion, way beyond passion.
Yep, and we do have our 5-year paving plan on our website. So if you want to see where a street is, if it's not on the list we showed here, you can take a look at when we're projecting it to be up. But as Steve mentioned, we do shift the paving program based on spring deterioration.
Got another question right here. Hi, so I have filled out some questionnaires on all the things that are going on. How do you want to see the city of Burlington go? And so one thing that still irks me is when you did the Champlain Parkway, how quickly it evolved. And what bothers me still to this day is that there are no bushes. And it's just driving me crazy. Where are the birds supposed to hide? Not every bird sits in a tree every day. They need housing too. Let's put it that way. We need bushes. We need bushes around trees. We also need, and this has been a problem that's been driving me crazy for years. When people are mowing the lawns for the city, they are going round and round. They love the machines. I don't know how they get paid if it's by the hour, but I've seen them over at Lady Park. I've seen them in other areas, just going back and forth over and over repeatedly. And they're destroying the soil. And they're cutting the grasses way too short. And those are two problems. And we're seeing wildfires in Florida and Oklahoma right now. We've got to start training people to manage the grasses better and make a safer environment, because we're going to torch up like everybody else if everything's drying out. The grasses have to be 3 to 4 inches tall. Please get somebody to start working on stuff like that. I appreciate everything you do. I love the city. I love what you do, but those things just have not been addressed. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Parks does mowing for the city. It's a separate department from us, but we will pass this on to them. And we did partner with them around the Champlain Parkway and tree species identification, and we can talk to them about bush installation. We are very good at the gray infrastructure. We're not so good at the green infrastructure. We partner with our friends at Parks to do that maintenance for us.
Okay, this is not a terribly impactful question as some of the others have been, but I'm so curious. So I've been Vermont Alert for a while now. So what do you do with the yeses and the no, or the no responses? Is that data collection? Is that a matter of seeing how many people respond?
I wish I could tell you how we would use it, but because it's a state system, those confirmations actually get shifted back to the state. And I think one of the things they try to do is to keep an honest database. I know they cull the database of folks who are no longer able to be reached through the system. That might be one way they use their confirmations. I will say I'm also signed up for many VT Alert, and I get a lot of them. And you do have an option to kind of pull back on if you feel like you're getting too many from the state or other municipalities. For instance, we try to be judicious, but we do have to have the request confirmation on there per our relationship with the state. I can find out how that's.
So there's no penalties if you don't answer, right?
As long as your phone is active, that should be fine.
Not at all, but it is amazing to see the amount of signups that Burlington has. There are over 25,000 people in Burlington on VT Alert. So as we're looking at emergencies and communicating with our public, that is our #1 tool.
That's great.
Yeah. Councilor Carpenter.
Hi, some folks may think when you say we're finishing the Champlain Parkway that includes the rail yard project. Could you just give a quick update, which is because it's a separate project?
Sure. So the Champlain Parkway originally was designed as a high-speed 4-lane highway that would go over the barge canal, kind of off Pine Street, close to the lake, kind of by the bike path, and would connect with Battery Street. That version of the project got redirected due to federal and state directives a couple decades ago. Former Director Goodkind could probably spin a lot of tales around how that unfolded. But right now, the Champlain Parkway project goes up Pine Street to Main Street. So there is a separate project called the Rail Yard Enterprise Project looking to connect behind Curtis Lumber over to Battery Street. That project is a short but challenging project, given the city does not have right of way And so we would need to acquire right of way for that project. It is approximately 5 years out. It's an estimate of a $50 million project. And we'll be updating the council soon on the status of that work.
Any other questions or comments? One for me?
Thanks, I'm looking, meeting, minutes for, sharing on the city website, and I'm just wondering, I wasn't able to capture the contact information. Could you just say, please, the phone number and the email where folks can direct questions?
Of course, and if there's any other way I can share that would be helpful, please let me know. The best phone number to reach our customer service team, and they can also put you directly in touch with any of us, is 802-863-9094. And the best email address for customer service is DPW customer service at Burlington VT, sorry. We need to make it more user-friendly email. We've had this conflict before. It's DPW/Pine customer service at burlingtonvt.gov. That's DPW/Pine customer service at burlingtonvt.gov. And if you are on the website, you should be able to pretty easily find that, but happy to send that along.
Any little clarifiers? Any other questions, comments?
So, I mean, I think I need to circle back a little bit about the patching program. It's been maybe years that the city of Burlington is providing that service. But from my perspective, it is now time for roads that you've been patching to revisit, even though, and assess whether or not they need new pavement. I think Chaplain Spencer, my next text to you is to tell you about James Avenue. Anybody here utilizing James Avenue, the road? Right, many people here, but James Avenue is getting worn, especially 175 and also the intersection of the Central, right there. You've been patching it, but it just takes 5 days, and then the road becomes the way it was, and even sometimes worn. I think it would be good to not only patch, but at least take a square and pave it so that it can stay long. But thank you for your work and everything you've been doing for the city.
Thank you. We will take a look at that again and look at a more substantive patch for this coming year.
Awesome. We have a few more minutes for another question or comment. And if not, we've got a clear phone number and email address, and these will be in our minutes and available on the recording. So without further ado, thank you so much, Robin.
Thank you.
And now I'll invite Lisa Lax and Kim. All right, so you can reintroduce yourselves, but to talk to us about the McNeil plant from 350 Vermont.
Great to be with you on Earth Day. And I've been active with the Chittenden node of 350 Vermont for a little over 5 years, with a special focus on the health impacts of all the things we burn.
And I'm here because I am tremendously concerned about global warming, and the McNeil plant is a contributor, unfortunately, to that. And so our presentation tonight, we want to thank you for having us. Our presentation tonight is about our rationale for why the McNeil plant needs to be closed.
So just for fun, raise your hand if you know who Bill McKibben is. All right, there's quite a few. Bill is a climate activist, a Vermonter, and founder of both 350.org and more recently, Third Act. And so we kick off with a quote from Bill Burning wood for electricity is a bad idea. The science has changed a lot since Burlington started doing it decades ago. It makes sense to phase it out, not incentivize it. And he sent this to an activist friend of ours.
So in case, the next slide, please.
Hold the mic closer to your mouth. please.
Okay. So next slide, please. So here's some basics about the McNeil plant in case you don't know very much about it. It started operation in June of 1984. It's located in the Intervale. It burns wood to generate electricity, and it is the largest electricity generator in Vermont. It's jointly owned by Burlington Electric and Green Mountain Power and Vermont Public Power Supply Authority. And the Burlington Electric Department owns 50%. And it provides 32 to 48% of BED's total power supply. And next slide.
So this is kind of a summary of our points, but we'll go a little more in depth on each of them. It is the largest stationary source of greenhouse gas emissions in Vermont. It is harmful to health. Particulate matter and other pollutants it emits lead to and exacerbate health conditions. A negative impact on forest ecosystems and the benefits they provide. It costs a lot. The power it produces is expensive. It is old and inefficient.
So regarding greenhouse gas emissions, McNeil emitted 349,000 tons of CO2 in 2025. And it also emits lesser amounts of the greenhouse gases, methane and nitrous oxide. Plus, there's the fossil fuel used to get the trees to the plant. Burning wood to generate electricity emits more carbon dioxide per kilowatt hour generated than fossil fuels, even coal, the most carbon intensive fuel. That's a pretty shocking piece of information that I know surprised me.
Part of the reason is wood is full of moisture. So a lot of the burning is getting rid of that moisture and not generating the electricity. So you have to burn more wood to create 1 kilowatt of electricity than any other fuel. So BED claims that McNeil is carbon neutral because BED engages in sustainable forestry, and the carbon dioxide emissions from its stack are resequestered by trees as they regrow. This is a myth. When trees are burned, the carbon dioxide is released immediately, creating a carbon debt which takes decades to centuries to eliminate through tree regrowth. Also, regrowth is uncertain. Harvested areas may be converted to other land uses, or trees may succumb to insects, disease, or drought.
So this slide is something that BED uses in their publicity, and they call it the closed loop carbon cycle. And it's actually a misrepresentation because it's showing that if you burn wood, the carbon from burning wood can be stored or sequestered in trees. And the truth is that the carbon emitted from burning anything, any fuels, can be collected and stored by trees. So carbon is carbon. It doesn't matter where it comes from, whether it's burning wood or fossil fuels, it is still harmful to the atmosphere.
So here's another graphic. Wood burning power plants emit more CO2 per unit energy and also degrade the forest carbon sink of the forest. The result is higher atmospheric CO2 concentrations. So our top little widest band is wind and solar generation. When wind and solar are working, the fuel is free and there's no emissions. So the forest is not negatively impacted when you're generating electricity from wind or solar. With fossil fuel, I would say that the forest is negatively impacted because of the climate change that the CO2 that from anything that burns is causing, but you're not directly harvesting the forest. With biomass, you are contributing to climate change and you are reducing the number of trees that can sequester carbon. So the forest is the most impacted and very negatively.
So next slide, please. So burning wood chips also causes ecological harm to our forests. Burlington Electric has claimed that it does not burn whole trees, and this actually is not completely true. They burn, the wood chips do come from whole trees. They do cut down large trees to generate the amount of wood that they need to burn. And the plant burns 400,000 tons of wood chips per year.
So this definitely impairs forest ecosystems, erodes important benefits forests provide, including flood protection, and has a destructive impact on forest ecology and wildlife. For many years, BED advertised that they were only using waste wood, tops and limbs. But if you talk to a forester, they will tell you that those things should be left in the forest to enhance the soil.
So the other thing that cutting down trees does is it destroys our carbon rock stars. The mature canopy tree shown on the left, that absorbs or can store 8 tons of carbon. And if you look on the far right, it would take 465 new large landscape trees to absorb the same amount of carbon. So cutting down large trees does not make sense in terms of protecting the environment.
So McNeil emits a number of very toxic emissions. And I do have some handouts for those who have more interest in what the emissions are. They have to report that to the state, and I have the state report. I also have more information on what some of these things that it emits cause health-wise. But it emits particulate matter, PM 2.5 and PM 10, nitrogen oxides, sulfur dioxide, volatile organic compounds. It also emits benzene and formaldehyde and other pollutants which are known to be harmful to human health. The folks in the pulmonary department at UVM like to say that wood smoke is very similar to cigarettes. McNeil releases these pollutants in proximity to racially diverse, low and middle income neighborhoods of Burlington's Old North End and Winooski. These residents automatically face greater environmental risks than residents of other areas. And I want to also explain to you that according to the Vermont Department of Health, you can just go to their website, Vermont ranks number 5 for asthma in the nation.
Okay, next slide. So the next thing we're going to address is the expense. And as Kim noted, the electricity that's generated from burning wood is very expensive electricity. The average real-time price for wholesale power in New England in 2024 was $39.50 per megawatt hour. They was projected to increase to $55 per megawatt hour in 2025. The cost of generating power from McNeil was $96.42 per megawatt hour in fiscal year 2025. So that's double the amount that it was projected for the average cost.
So as we've mentioned, wood is very inefficient. The plant is 26% efficient. It runs only about 50 to 60% of the time and is frequently offline for planned maintenance, repairs due to operational problems, or because it's simply too expensive to run in comparison to other sources. BED has invested in capital improvements to extend operation of the 42-year-old plant beyond its anticipated useful life. And I would add that most states retire biomass plants at age 30. In 2023, BED obtained City Council approval to move forward with District Energy Project. If this goes through, it will expand the amount of wood burned at McNeil. Additional capital expenditures are planned or under consideration. BED has planned all of these major expenditures without evaluating whether the plant should continue to operate or whether alternative sources of power would be more effective.
So our organizations would hold that Burlington has flawed policies when it comes to climate change. And one is that Burlington Electric has directed the course of Burlington's overall climate policy, and that has led to some major flaws. And one of the biggest flaws is that the policies call for reducing fossil fuel use rather than reducing greenhouse gas emissions from all sources, such as the McNeil plant. And further, the net zero energy roadmap defines net zero as eliminating fossil fuel use in the heating and ground transportation sectors. It calls for pursuit of the district energy project, which would perpetuate McNeil's massive greenhouse gas emissions to produce electricity. The carbon pollution impact fee is applied to heating systems powered by fossil fuels, but not to so-called renewable systems and fuels with significant greenhouse gas emissions.
So this undercuts the potential benefits of electrification of buildings and vehicles. To meaningfully reduce our greenhouse gas emissions through electrification, we want that electricity to be from low carbon sources such as hydropower, solar, and wind.
And this slide shows our vision of Burlington being powered by green and clean sources of energy.
So we're inviting you to advocate and place responsibility for development of the city climate policy in a city department or official independent of BED, and develop a plan to close the McNeil plant, preferably by June of 2028. The plan should include measures for a just transition for the 35 employees, a plan to keep electricity rates stable and ensure adequate energy for future needs.
Actions we can take: connect with our city councilors, write to Mayor Emma, attend a city council meeting and speak during public comment. And we also invite your neighborhood planning assembly and all the other planning assemblies to consider sending a resolution to city council on this issue. And get involved with an organization like Vermont350.org or Stop Vermont Biomass. There's a sign-up sheet that's being passed around, and if you just want information, please put your email address or your phone number, and somebody from our organization will reach out to you. If you want, just questions answered, but also if you're interested in the organization, you can check that box as well. We'd really love to have more people involved in this work.
So we would like to open it up for questions. Yes.
Let's see one over here. We'll start, and then another one back.
I do like your presentation. I support your goals. I think just to put it in a little more perspective, how bad this plant is. You mentioned it's about 26% efficient. As power plants go, it's on the lower end. But realize this, for every pound, every ton of wood that plant burns, it generates a pound or a ton of CO2. It's 1 for 1. It's very efficient at that. And for everyone sitting in this room, if it burns 400,000 tons a year, it can burn more. It's 10 tons per person. Think of where anything you do generates 10 tons of CO2 per person. Your car doesn't do that. Even your home doesn't do that. And this thing doesn't even run all the time. It could run more if they do the district heating. This thing is it's a CO2 producing plant. That's the best thing it does, if you like that. But it's 10 tons for everyone sitting in this room. It's an incredible amount. And there's so many other ways to do it. You've shown some there. Even switching to natural gas would cut that in half. That's how bad it is. And that can be done almost with a flip of a switch. So thanks for the presentation.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you for your presentation. I'm curious as to where the remainder of the electric power supply comes from, because you say 30 to 40% comes from McNeil.
Well, you do have some from wind. I think that's like 20-25%. There may be someone in the room who knows better than I. Go ahead.
We're in something called the New England Power Pool. We share.
Yeah.
We don't really take power directly from McNeil and send it to our homes. It goes into a bigger grid when it's needed and it comes back. So there's a lot of natural gas, there's some wind, there's some hydro, there's some nuclear, so there's some wood. So I think there's still a trash plant in that mix also. So it's a big mix, but we don't get the power from McNeil directly. It goes out and then we get some back if we need it.
So we're part of this huge grid all through New England. ISO. And the state of Vermont, I know, gets about 40% of its power from hydro Quebec.
So the second thing I want to say is to build momentum for closing the plant. I'm very, very attentive to the particulate matter that we start seeing in the summer weather reports. If we can show how much less people's electric bills would be with renewables versus this very expensive plant, I think that would be really get people's attention.
So just a caution, renewable, burning wood is labeled as renewable.
So the good renewables.
Green and green.
Right.
And green, and not burning. You don't miss burning any
Wind and solar and hydro. Yes.
Got one from Kathleen. Anybody else?
Is there any mechanism within the city government for following research? I ask because there's a new development. The Chinese Society of Optical Engineers is developing a system of coating windows to harvest energy. And it has a ways to go, but the test sample 1 inch square powered a room fan. And the harvest efficiency is 80%. So is there a way that this kind of research gets into city government?
Well, currently, I think most of the policy is coming from Burlington Electric. And I think the city council depends on the expertise of Burlington Electric to drive our climate policy. So I don't know what kind of research.
That's grim.
Yeah.
These are great questions.
Well, I hear that BED is a driving force in this McNeil power plant. What are the vested interests that we must look at to disengage from that McNeil plant? And, you know, it's great to say we need to not do that anymore, but who are we fighting in this battle?
So
let's just say
Steve has, I think he has a lot of experience. I do think one thing is that we've been able to sell what's called RECs. And we had been selling them to Connecticut and getting a lot of money back. Connecticut no longer accepts our RECs because they don't think burning wood qualifies. And But then we found another state that's willing to buy it, Maine. So I think that cuts down on the overall cost of operating the plant. But eventually, states are not going to want to buy these RECs.
Because I'm thinking if you've got a goal of 2028, that's like 2 years from now. We really need to know what are we up against if we're gonna really achieve that goal, because that's a short time, 2 years to get a major change done.
So Steve, do you have something to
Yeah,
say?
you're up against the mayor, the administration of BD, and most of the city council. It all got in line. The mayor ran on a platform of looking at closing this plan. She's completely flipped on that. So you're up against every political organization in the city that's part of the city. Not those of us that are outside of that and trying to do something, but that's what you're fighting against. And it's pretty disappointing.
I've got a question then about that. Sorry, is why are we begging why is the city council fighting against what seems to be a good policy?
Well, sure, we've got Mark here who wanted to chime in.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that setup. Honestly, we've been having this discussion with the city council and it took, a couple of things. I think in order to have, a really informed conversation, we do need to have a balanced presentation. We have 350 Vermont here. We don't have BED here. And I would hope we would invite, Director Springer here, and BED staff to give their view on this. What I will say is, we had I chair the Transportation, Energy and Utilities Committee. In November, we had BED in, and we had contracted as part of the district energy resolution to have a firm, Valerity, do a report for us on ways to make McNeil more efficient, and particularly to reduce emissions, because there was a call in that resolution to reduce emissions. And so two of the technologies that they're looking at, one seemed really promising, and I'd rather have Director Springer or somebody here, General Manager Springer here to explain it better, but is this wood pyrolysis, where they actually, which would significantly reduce emissions, and it would allow us to continue to burn wood, but in a different way. It's through the gasification of wood. So that's one thing that I think that is promising and BED is looking at right now. I don't think it's realistic to close it by 2028. We are part of the ISO New England power grid. But like I said, we are looking at ways to potentially repower it. And the other thing I would say about the economics is that one of the things, I don't have any data to back this up, but again, we had General Manager Springer here. I'm sure he would have that data. This winter it was really expensive for a power producer producing, and McNeil actually saved ratepayers of Burlington quite a bit of money. We do have Brian Williams here from the BED Commission. I don't know if he has anything to say about that, but
that I do, yeah. I mean,
and it continues to save us money, especially now in these uncertain times, depending on fossil fuel sources. So, right now it's keeping rates low, and we're looking at ways to reduce emissions with that. So, but like I say, this is a one-sided discussion. So just in the interest of presenting more information, I think it would be good to have a balanced presentation.
BED had the microphone for the last several
Well,
decades.
you can say that, but I disagree with it.
One other thing.
So we want to
I just want to say that I believe that
the conversation
in solar and wind power and hydropower. And I think we need to seriously look from shifting away from other sources of energy.
So yeah, I'm glad that this conversation's happened. I want to keep new voices coming into it. Barbara, I know you had your hand up first, and then I saw a couple other hands go up, Lizzie and Annie and Mark.
Thank you. It's hard for me because I don't know the technical specifications and possibilities, but it sounds like, oh yeah, we could just put up some windmills and we could put up some solar panels and that would work. But really what we're saying is we need an independent study of the actual feasibility of this, because we don't have that information yet.
What we need is people to take, their concerns to their elected officials and push for the greener methods. Pyrolysis, you're still cutting down trees, and it has very toxic, aspects to that process as well. When you already have solar, hydro, and wind that we know work, and battery backup. So there are many communities that have gotten off of their wood burning plants. They probably have some insights. And we just encourage Burlington to follow the science. I do have a number of handouts, and one of them is a letter from over 1,000 IPCC scientists to President Biden and several other Korea, Japan, and the EU. And it's a beautiful letter that is written by the peer-reviewed science on why wood is not renewable. And this is one of our major disagreements. Your BED says wood is renewable. The modern science says, no, it's not. You don't have 150 years for that tree to grow back. And when you cut it, you're stopping it from getting even bigger. And the bigger the tree, the more it sequesters. And you're burning things. So there's disagreements that are very science-based. And those of you who want to follow the peer-reviewed science, you need to be pushing your elected officials to do the same. I have that letter. It's unbelievably well written. It's just two-sided. I have the emissions that are the state report. It's an awful lot of PM 2.5, 5 tons a year. That is really toxic. Medical science does not recognize any amount of PM 2.5 as healthy.
But when I get to, I would add that, and if I just add one thing, that we are investing in pyrolysis, when instead we should be investing in greener solutions. And as long as we're putting money into making, quote unquote, the McNeil plant better, we're not spending money on truly green solutions.
Thanks. Just to address the point about whether we're hearing one side of a conversation or not. As a person on the steering committee, I just want to give a little context. The folks presenting tonight submitted a request to present on this topic. And we would certainly welcome BED to do the same. But we have not had enough vacancies on our agendas to go out and solicit. We have not been approaching groups saying, please come present. So these folks are advocates for this issue, and they've taken the initiative to reach out and take advantage of this community meeting to share their voices. We would certainly welcome a request from BED to do the same.
Thanks for that context, Sandy. We have a question over here.
It's a bit of a comment. So Councilman mentioned about lowering costs. Yes, it possibly lowers costs in terms of money, but it raises costs in terms of health.
Yeah.
And health, more and more people are going to the hospital. My grandson has severe asthma, my son-in-law. So we're talking about different kinds of costs and priorities. So in terms of a balanced view, I would love to see a panel of both BED reps and also you ladies and this man right here, Steve Quitcon, what a nice name. And you know, for that kind of perspective, so we can have actually a dialogue of them responding to one another.
I would add that the health impacts improve immediately. When you stop emitting air pollution, the health impacts rebound. Climate is a much bigger project, and even more important that we slow it down.
Okay, I saw 2 more hands that I'm hoping to get in. Sorry, Mark, and then Matt.
Yeah, just to make a comment. The presentation was great. If, as a taxpayer citizen, we were to decide to close the McNeil, the administration is going to come up with an alternative plan. I mean, if we're going to vote to do this, where's the extra energy coming from?
Well, you need a good plan. You need a good plan of what you replace
But I
it
think
with.
that's what the city's up against, right? I assume if so much energy is coming from McNeil, let's go with alternatives, but if this happens, where's it coming from?
McNeil is 0.16% of the ISO grid.
Right, so.
So you gotta find
is that-
0.16%.
Is that, we're gonna see on a ballot that that energy is gonna come from the grid somewhere else?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
For more money.
Thank you, Mark. With that, yeah, Ren?
I have a question in the sense of the wood that's being burned at McNeil. Is my understanding that so much of it isn't trees being cut to be burned, but like us trimming our trees in our highways and our yards and wood chips and pallets that otherwise are like a giant waste stream. I mean, I go down to pick up my CSA every week, and I don't know, I'm assuming you guys do, but I'd like to shaking the heads that maybe you can tell us how much.
So your the yard wastage at McNeil is 1.6%. We had, I think we had that in one of the slides. Or I have it in the materials that helped me prepare for this, but it's very, very little of it is from the city. It's mainly being trucked in and railroaded in, I think. It's big wood chips, big railroad cars full of wood chips.
Sure, we spread it from us, our forestry industry.
No, they are whole trees as well as tops and limbs. And as I said earlier, the waste wood should be left in the forest to amend the soil. But they are sometimes clear cutting 25 acres. That's in reports we've looked at from BED. They are clear cutting 25 acres. Your wood is coming from 70 miles around Burlington. It's a radius that large.
Okay, we have one more comment here.
Thank you for your presentation. And I think it screams for the city council in particular to start to plan for the future without the McNeil plan. And that's something easy to do. The city council can pass a resolution to ask BED to do feasibility studies to do like that. So
I don't think anybody's done it. Why?
let me give you a little history here. I was a city councilor from 82 to 88. It's another world. And the Moran plant was cooking at that point. It was a coal generating plant. I represented Ward 3, which if we had a southern wind, all the coal ash dumped on our neighborhood. So we would ask BED to, put scrubbers in there, clean it up, and it was too expensive. They didn't want to do that. It made a lot of money. So what we did, and I think what we could do as citizens, is I gathered especially on Lakeview Terrace, all the citizens that come to a public hearing, bring damaged clothes, bring damaged car hoods, bring damaged boat covers by what that coal ash was doing to the neighborhood. And that public hearing had a profound impact on closing that plant. And I think that's what people can do, is you can organize, but you organize the close, but you gotta start something. The McNeil plant 45 years ago was on the cutting edge of moving forward. It's not anymore, obviously, but the city council can start to say, okay, we want a plan from BED for 2035 of what it's gonna look like with renewables other than trees. And they can do it. They have amazing expertise within BED. And we're blessed that it's a city-owned department, actually. So we need to start to look forward. That's all. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Mayor. And I love this conversation. Unfortunately, it is the end of our time for this agenda point. Is there any other way that people can contact you folks? And I know that our city councilors are at the city.
There's a sign-up sheet going around.
Sign-up sheet is right where Gary is.
Okay, if you want someone to be in contact with you, with us.
And I can just hit the back with some of my handouts if people want them.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for having us.
And thanks everyone who is still here, engaged in conversation. We have one more agenda point, which is to re-nominate our current steering committee, and also invite any other community members, residents of Ward 4 and Ward 7 to either nominate someone they know or self-nominate to join the steering committee. And the steering committee is us folks who host the meeting. And as Annie mentioned earlier, receive requests, when there's time and capacity, solicit requests for people to make presentations. Oftentimes we get plenty of requests that we're actually trying to plan a month or two ahead of time. But we've been running with I maybe would even call it a skeleton crew, over the last year or so. So I mean, I can hand it off just for you both to introduce yourselves. And I believe that we're all running perhaps, we'll see. I personally am going to stay on the steering committee with your vote, for Ward 7, but we'll get to that. Yeah, just.
Okay.
We're gonna,
Yeah, okay, it's a funny thing to do to like campaign for myself to be on the steering committee, but
yeah.
I'm Annie Lawson, I'm in Ward 4. I've been on the steering committee, I think, for 2 years, and it wasn't something I planned to do, but it kind of just like fell in my lap. And it is just a really good way to feel connected to your community. And I will be honest, sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't want to go to a meeting. But every time I go, I feel like good to be part of a community where people show up and get to know each other and care about issues and like take time out of their weeknights to come and get informed and get connected. The work that we do is it takes a little bit of time. It's not like rigorous work, but it involves communicating with folks who want to present. It involves putting out the yard signs that you see around town in the week before the meeting. We try to put the word out on Facebook and Front Porch Forum. We are responsible for a budget and making sure that we get folks to provide food for each meeting and then compensate them. I'm sure I'm forgetting other responsibilities, but it's not a huge amount of behind the scenes work, but it is definitely work. And if anybody would like to even just like try it out for a bit, see what it's like, we definitely could use it.
Amy Gillespie Branch, Ward 4, I'm on the steering committee. If I win that other election, I can't be on the steering committee, so I'm torn, but I'm gonna stay on it for now. And if you have a lot of time to give, we'll take your a lot of time. But if you just have a little time to give, we'll take that too, like sometimes you could just be our sign person.
That would
right?
be
Like,
huge.
That'd be huge.
Being a fine person, that'd be huge.
So and we have fun, and Steve always makes us a snack when we have our meetings, so that's brilliant. And we're kind of fun people, so consider it.
I'm Joanne, and I've been on the steering committee. How long have we been on it? 3 years, maybe? Well, so a little history though. This steering committee and the whole NPA thing kind of fell apart a few years ago for a variety of reasons. And so there was a meeting and some of us kind of got nominated and decided to do it. And Sarah and me, and then Annie, and then Steve, and now, but it's been challenging because we get new people in and then they all leave. And we don't always know why they leave, but we could use more people on the steering committee, but one of the things we'll also be looking at is just having people like at a meeting or sign up to do something while you're here, like setting up tables or putting down the tables or whatever. I think this meeting tonight was a really good example of why we do it and why we have it. Some of you come to a lot of meetings, some of you are new. It's really an opportunity to get to know each other, but our city councilors usually come, sometimes our house reps come. You get to have a discussion and figure out like how to be more engaged and involved. And I suspect most of us at this point in time in our lives and in this country, like want to be engaged and involved because this is like democracy at the local level. So even if you don't come on the steering committee, keep coming to the meetings and feel free to like give us suggestions or what you'd like to see or what doesn't work or.
Yes. Yeah, I was gonna say, Sal, you had your hand up. Is that to be nominated or to nominate someone else? Because I didn't put that up for, I know somebody else spoke to me about that.
I'd
So.
like to say something. It's a maybe.
Okay.
I love seeing all the families here.
And then
I thought, oh, that's so great to have the families here and then for the kids to be able to play in the other room. And then I see they only had so much time. And then of course the pickleball tip over. And I feel like the pickleball people could give up one evening a month.
Yeah.
Because as Karen knows, I have said many times for many years, if we had entertainment while we eat, as in the fourth grade choir is going to sing, that would bring the families because their kids are going to be singing. And then the gym is open. And I don't know. I know you're going to say, well, get on the steering committee.
Yeah.
I
didn't like that.
Everybody help me do that. And I just said, well,
Okay.
the kids.
Does anyone want to nominate Sal? It seems like you're being nominated, but if you're not going to accept it, that's okay. Is there anyone else who would like to nominate themselves or be nominated? Gary, I see your hands.
Yeah.
Tell us about why you want to join the steering committee.
Want to speak? Well, I believe in community and neighborhoods, and I think this group, the NPA, creates an important part of information dissemination, information sharing, getting to know each other. But we're all wiser for the presentations that were here tonight, for example. And if I can be of help to move that forward, I'll be glad to. Ward 4.
I'm hearing a second. So Gary is being nominated from Ward 4. Is there any other nominations before we move into voting or questions?
Yes, I do.
Okay, Deb, please share.
Hey, first of all, I think that's great, and I would like to nominate Sal. If I don't know, Sal, are you already nominated? I'm not sure. But the other thing is I wanted to nominate someone who's not here. And I don't know if she'd be up for it, but that would be Ivanka. Because I was involved in the whole bylaws committee, and Monica had to step down at the time because she was on the school board, but she's not on the school board anymore. And I know she was very involved and participated a lot. So that was another thought I had to nominate her. But again, I don't know if she needs to be here and accept it. And that's it.
Okay, thank you so much, Deb.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want to kind of announce this to everyone. This is just a time of the year that we make sure to have it on our agenda because, as you can see, the meetings just fly by with excitement. But this is a rolling invitation. So if you're feeling shy or you're feeling busy right now, come to our next meeting, come to the meeting after that, maybe September. Like our lives change, and as we've expressed, we can always use support to keep these meetings going. So for now, we just have Gary as a new nomination. We'll keep Monica in the back of our minds, and hopefully she'll be at a future meeting. So thank you for that.
Okay.
Is there a fixed number of steering?
We can have up to 7 people from both wards, so 14 people, and I think right now we're at 5.
There's a hand in the back.
So, Martha? Okay.
Gym every.
Sal, you've been nominated and seconded, but it is up to you to accept your nomination.
I accept my nomination.
Yay, Sally!
And what ward are you in?
All right, Sal.
Beautiful. Okay, so,
Okay, I want to come just to hang out with Sal.
okay. So you're nominating yourself?
Yes, I'm gonna get the gym. You're gonna get, should be on the second.
You're nominated and you're seconded as well, Ren. What ward are you in? You're in Ward 4. Great. Okay, this is splendid. So it is, we are approaching our adjournment time, so I want to make sure we get these people on our steering committee. So let's start with, Gary, since you were the person who was most excited to nominate yourself. From Ward 4. Nomination for Gary, so only if you're in Ward 4, which is the west side of North Avenue. All in favor of Gary joining the steering committee, please raise your hand. I think that's 16. Okay, anyone opposed? Great, any abstaining? One abstain, okay. Thank you for trying. Okay, Gary, welcome to the steering committee. Classic. Anytime, yeah. So that was the whisper. Any time of the year, you can join the steering committee. This is just a special moment, but thank you, Charlie. And Sal, I know, they're like, don't lose Sal. Okay, Sal, Ward 7. You've been nominated and seconded. All in favor of Sal joining the steering committee, please raise your hand. Keep them up so I can do a little rough count.
I'm voting for you, Sal, too.
Okay, I think that's about 16 again. Any opposed? No, any abstain? Okay, one abstain. Welcome to the steering committee now. And one more for,
I think I'm just gonna like make sure that Ben's on it.
you want to, okay.
Yeah, I got.
Fred was nominated and seconded, but you are declining this opportunity for now.
I think it still counts. Oh, I'll come here, but do I have to go to another? No. Yes.
Yes, this is a great example of you owning your part of being here. And only one piece of supporting this whole meeting, you don't have to be on the steering committee, so respect. Steve, are you remaining on the steering committee? I know you're not up in this crew over here, but we would love to continue to have you.
So, I want to take a break. I am a 4-time cancer survivor and I've been in a lot of pain recently. I love cooking for everybody. I still would like to cook for you sometimes, okay? But I want to take a break. And I, it was like 2 years ago when I showed up at an NPA meeting, I was amazed by what was happening here. Like when you were saying what was going on here, it's really good stuff. So, I think it is important. I think trying to build the community through food. I counted like 60 people in the room tonight. That's pretty amazing. So I think here in Wards 4 and 7, we're doing a pretty good job. And I'll be back around, but I just need to take a break for a while. So.
Thank you for the time that you were on the steering committee, Stephen. So appreciated. Joanne, you want to be nominated and seconded? Okay.
You can also leave at any time.
You can also leave at any time. Yes, we are all adults with the ability to make choices for ourselves. So thank you for that as well. But for Ward 4, all in favor of Joanne on our steering committee, only Ward 4 residents. Okay, I got 12. Okay. Any opposed? Any abstain? Great. You're on. All right, Amy, you're in Ward 4 as well. All in favor of Amy remaining on our steering committee? Definitely. Definitely vote for yourself. Any opposed? Any abstains? Great. And Annie Lawton from Ward 4 as well. All in favor of Annie being on our steering committee? Can't count anymore.
Okay. Do you want me to do it?
Yes.
What's up? Annie's in, Annie's in. And Sarah, our great facilitator from Ward 7, who's all in for Sarah keeping on the committee. Yes.
7.
Any opposed or abstained? Woo!
All right, our next meeting for everyone in our ward, both wards, is Wednesday, May 27th, the 4th Wednesday of the month. We'll meet here. And
Could I say one thing before you wrap up?
yes, please. Go ahead.
I just want to, I don't want to embarrass you, Sarah, but I think you've done an amazing job. And I think you deserve a lot of kudos for, you've been in it for a while through ups and downs and ins and out. And you're great at this. And thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I appreciate that. And thank you all for the opportunity to learn so much about how to facilitate a meeting. Because I did learn a lot. You can go back to the YouTube from the first meeting. Actually, don't do that. And now our meeting will adjourn. Those who are now on our steering committee, hang out for one more second so we can get your email. And everyone else, meeting adjourned. Thank you so much. Take home leftovers.